Welcome in, Ramie and Drew, episode 71. I am Ramie Mackloff. That is Drew Flaggy. We're a couple of Milwaukee-based comedians. We talk about sports and whatever else is going on. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. We are live right now on YouTube and on Facebook as well. And we thank you if you are joining us live. And please tell a friend. Also, like, rate, review, do all the things that you do to help us grow this thing. It's been a few weeks, Drew. It's been a few weeks since we've talked. There's been holidays. I was out of town for a while. There were some technical difficulties. I think one of us got sick or had I know I had a migraine on one. There's just been a lot of reasons for us to not do a podcast the last few weeks. But here we are. And we were supposed to be here, I don't know, like 20 minutes, half an hour ago. I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but we were supposed to be here about 20 minutes, half an hour ago. And I was kind of just sitting here waiting for you, Drew. Kind of just chilling, waiting for. And you told me like you were going to watch the game at your local watering hole, and then we'd do this when you got home. But game ended a while ago, dude. Game ended a good long while ago.
All right. So you experienced Natty Oaks last week,
it was pretty cool. It's your typical Milwaukee dive bar. Yeah,
seemed like a chill bar, right?
Yeah,
like
it's pretty chill.
On a Tuesday night, a chill bar, watch the in-season tournament, all the passions on display. But
oh man,
so I invited my cousin out there, right? My cousin Steven. Shouts out cousin Steven. He's awesome. We watched the game. Hadn't seen him in a couple months, so it was fun for him to come out. My friend Laura came and hung out because she lives 2 blocks away from me. So whatever.
Cool.
And my buddy Jake was there.
Steven and Laura.
No, and then my buddy Jake was there. He's the guy that started doing comedy a couple months ago or whatever. He's done a couple open mics. He's like a hot vampire boy. Like he looks like a Twilight vampire. He looks like he sparkles in the sun. So my cousin Steven leaves. He's not part of this drama. This is weird. Then
there's drama.
And Laura, we're just finishing up our drinks. That's it. I'm like, I gotta go do a podcast. It's very important. The in-season tournament. Detroit just got eliminated. Tragic day for Detroit. They're still in the rebuild. Me and Jake are just talking shit with my friend Laura, and Laura dropped a candle on her foot like 2 days ago, and she's got like lupus, so she's got like all sorts of fucking weird medical stuff, and she's like my foot hurts. I'm like, is it better? And she goes, I don't know, do you guys want to look? And I'm like, no one wants to see your feet in the bar. And then this guy, this big metalhead dude who has like the alt-right haircut, like where but it's like,
no, I know. You don't say less. I know exactly what you're talking about.
This dude, big fat guy tattoo, starts asking us about our favorite metal bands, and then proceeded to punch our friend Jake because he was like, "Don't disrespect women." When I'm the one that said, "Put your feet away. No one wants to see that." He was like play fighting, and then actually punched Jake in the face. And the bar was like confused of like, wait, did Jake just get hit? And so we were sorting out that was the story. Like Jake got hit by a metalhead who definitely puked on himself in the bar because he had this guy was wearing a black like a black shirt, just like a plain black Louis C.K. style Shane Gillis. I'm a fat guy on stage.
Yeah,
just a plain black T-shirt. No,
I know the shirt. Yeah, for sure.
Spittle like right here. And it looks like he started to puke and then like caught and then went forward. Like it came out and then he went forward. And this guy and then he started asking us about our favorite metal bands.
And then he punched your cousin.
No, he didn't punch my cousin. Steven was gone.
I'm sorry. He punched your friend Jake. My bad.
Yeah, Steven's got a German Shepherd named Ella that he just bought a condo. Like he's got a whole thing going on.
We know way too much about all these people.
Ella can't be, she can't be free range all that long. She's still a puppy. She's in a new environment. We got to make sure that, she gets let out. She's got to get the proper care. She's a young dog, has anxiety.
I'm glad he's a responsible dog owner. You know how I feel about dog ownership and people not taking the responsibility serious enough.
My cousin's a great dog owner, but I had to stay behind and take care of my dog, Jake, who got punched in the face by a emo metalhead. Because we disrespected my friend Laura's feet because we didn't want her to take her shoe off in the goddamn bar.
I wanted to see feet. That's what was going on there. That guy wanted to see feet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he was mad that you told her to put her feet away.
I'm sorry that I don't have a fetish. My bad. My bad that we're not going to end up on Natty Oaks r/feet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the Yelp review isn't going to be Smash Can Burger Tuesdays 5 out of 5, feet 6 out of 5. Like,
there's nothing wrong. I'm not into feet, but I mean, hey man, if
I'm not
that's your
either.
thing, and, they're consenting adults that want to participate in that with you, have at your feet thing. You know what I'm saying? Do your foot thing.
I've got opinions now about people who like the band Knocked Loose. They're really into feet. Here's the thing. This guy asked me what my favorite metal band was. I'm like, I'm embarrassed to say it. I like Korn. Well, guess what? Korn, as far as I know, the 100% of the Korn fans I know, not into feet. So there we go.
It's good. It's good to know. You know what I think is really funny, and I actually respect it, is remember the whole Rex Ryan thing with the feet? You remember that whole thing? He's really owned it. He's really owned it. Like, he goes on podcasts now, and he's just like, yeah, he's like, hey, I like feet. Yeah, and he's like, he jokes about it. He doesn't mind if other people make jokes about it. I think it's pretty awesome. And it's a lesson in like not letting the trolls get to you and just kind of going with it. You know what I mean?
Quentin Tarantino.
Also a footman. Yeah.
We all know it.
You know,
most of his movies are pretty good.
The more that we talk about this and talk about how much we respect these dudes who are into feet, the more it sounds like we are into feet.
We're really either expanding or narrowing down our audience by talking about this specifically.
I mean, it's YouTube, dude. It's the internet. We're expanding our audience. If we are expanding our audience,
wow, Bucks win 4-0 in season tournament.
Bucks win their 7th straight, Drew. How about that? And with ease as well against the Detroit Pistons.
Technically, shouldn't it be like our 11th straight or something like that? Because that goddamn Charlotte, we missed so many things to talk about. We missed the LaMelo Ball falling down. We missed Doc Rivers talking about how we won that game, and then Doc getting fined $25,000.
Go ahead and do the recap, and we can and then we can get to tonight's game. Go ahead and talk about it and list off everything that we've missed in the 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we've last done a podcast.
Yeah, we lost to the Hornets on that BS call, and then we avenged that loss. Right. And we've avenged several losses since then. We beat the Bulls pretty handily. The Bears have lost very funny games. We didn't cover the Bears getting a blocked punt. We didn't cover
dude, in 3 days, in 11 days, literally in 11 days, the Bears suffered 3 heartbreaking losses and found 3 dumbass ways to lose football games and got their coach fired.
When the coach got fired, I said, because Aaron Clark and Mark Vegas are in my group chat, they're like, finally, something's been done. I'm like, this is how the cycle starts. Now they're going to bring in another coach. And guess what? Caleb Williams isn't their guy. And then they're going to draft the replacement and they're going to trade Caleb Williams. And they're like, this breaks the cycle. I'm like, this is the cycle.
This is the cycle. This is what they've been doing. I hope it's different. But I definitely see what you see. And I said it before the season even started that this was continuing a cycle. I hope it's different, but I don't plan on it being different.
I wouldn't. No. But speaking of breaking the cycle, dude, the Bucks look like a unit. I don't know that they're necessarily better right now than like a team like the Celtics or the Cavs, but man, they are looking. Everybody seems to have settled into their roles, and
dude, that's what I was just gonna say is they're rolling, and it's because guys have really fallen into. Well, first of all, outside of Giannis and Dame, nobody was hitting shots like that. And that's obviously where it starts. Like the ball has to fall through the hoop. But when they were off to that rough start, nobody was hitting shots, including guys like Bobby and Brooke to a certain extent. He had his games, but he was very inconsistent and erratic. Nobody was coming off the bench and doing anything. And I think when they made the change to Andre Jackson Jr. is when. And putting him in the starting lineup, taking Gary Trent Jr. out, that's when things everybody started to settle into their roles and their positions and their spot in terms of the pecking order and the rotations that Doc Rivers had, and you've sort of seen things steady out and 7 straight wins.
Before we talk about the game tonight, do you remember when I said the thing about Gary Trent Jr. about how I thought his shot form looked off, like how it looked like he was shooting with a lot of back in his legs, and like he was arcing his back, and it just seemed like he had tired leg syndrome from like just having to take on defending guys like Jaylen Brown, having to take on guys like Donovan Mitchell 2 games in a row. And then you're expected to chase these dudes around who are all-star caliber players. And you're chasing around playing defense when you're a middle of the road defender. Like, I don't think Gary Trent's a bad defender. I think he's an upgrade from Malik Beasley from last year for sure. But you're chasing around all-star caliber players, and then your legs are a little bit tired. So when the ball gets swung to you, you're a little tired and your shot's just off. Like it seems like Gary Trent is absolutely a feel guy. And I like his role off the bench. He's going to get his minutes. He's going to get got a lot of shots up tonight for a bench.
They said it tonight. Even since he's gotten benched, he's getting 25 minutes per game. I mean, those are starter minutes. They're just not happening at the beginning of a game.
I think he's playing great. I think Andre Jackson injects a lot of energy and youth. And then the same thing is to say about AJ Green.
Yep.
Green is, I know we got our friend Eric is an absolute hater on AJ Green, but like AJ is awesome, dude. Like he was 4 for 4 tonight, 3 for 3 on threes. Just goes out there, launches threes, plays solid defense. Sure, he fouls. He's young. Who cares? Like, whatever. If you're going to play those minutes on those kind of players and you're going to get a bunch of fouls called on you, fine. I thought both of those guys, honestly, I was surprised at the rotations that Doc came out with this year, because I thought both Ajax and AJ Green showed you something in that series against Indiana last year when the Bucks lost Giannis and then lost Dame and already and Chris was banged up and in and out of the lineup. Those guys, I thought, showed you something in that series last year and earned a little bit more consideration coming into this year. And Doc seemed set with, Gary Trent Jr. and Pat Connaughton and some of these other vets that were getting a little more run and getting more of those minutes before he did finally go to Ajax and AJ Green. Yeah, I thought it was weird it took as long as they did, but I didn't think that those guys would sit on the bench as long as they did until the wheels had to almost fall off this thing for them to be like, fuck it, we're going to actually play these guys. I'm glad that those guys are getting a lot of run. I mean, I know Doc has said in some of his post games that like Pat is absolutely not out of the rotation. And it's like Pat found his way towards the back end of that bench. AJ and Ajax just give you so much more, like in their little niches that they do. AJ Green's probably more of a complete player than Andre Jackson, but Andre Jackson gives you a ton of energy and athleticism out there. And I like the minutes that he gives us right out the gate. I think he's a tone setter. He might not be a guy. You know what he reminds me of? When like in the playoffs, like when they had like the 1-game wild card for like baseball, when a team would start their closer, I kind of like that. We're just gonna go burn Ajax right away and just really set the tone that this is how this game goes. And then it's like, all right, now we're gonna kind of bring in the guy who's more suited for the long run, which I think AJ Green is more suited for the long run of a basketball game. Do you agree or no?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a solid analogy.
Yeah. I mean, I hate doing I hate when when sports, like when they do that, where they're like, we got to do like the cross comparison. We're like, oh, this guy's going for the grand slam home run ball. It's like he threw a slot pass. What are you talking about? Like that is absolutely this team's offense grand slam.
But Pat Connaughton was I didn't even realize it when I was watching tonight. DNP tonight. He didn't even see the court tonight.
Who?
Pat Connaughton.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Good. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm very okay with that.
He took a DMP in a game that Tyler Smith played in.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'll do respect. I'll do respect. He was here for the championship and all that. And, he did some things for that team. But Pat Connaughton's days are probably behind him.
You got to think that Chris Middleton is coming back sometime this season. So
you think?
I've heard
of. Think so?
Middleton, I think, is actually going to be back against Boston on Friday.
This Friday.
I think that we might see Chris Middleton on Friday.
Okay.
We got it
All right.
tomorrow, day off Thursday. I think you might see Chris Middleton. I remember when they said Thanksgiving, they're like, "Oh, he's targeted around Thanksgiving," and I was like, "Middleton's coming back December 20th."
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I'll move the timeline up a little bit here, but I don't know.
Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
I've heard of the mythological creature named Chris Middleton. People have seen him swimming in a lake in Scotland. So
I've seen him on the bench.
I'm pretty sure he's the moth.
I like some of the fits. I like some of the fits on the bench. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him rock a Bucks uniform.
Is Chris Middleton a skinwalker?
I don't think so. Can't
Chris
confirm
Middleton
nor deny.
A 51 right now. If Donald Trump released the JFK files, was Chris Middleton the guy who shot JFK?
Was Chris Middleton the man on the grassy knoll?
Is Chris Middleton? Is he Bigfoot?
Is Chris Middleton part of the deep state? Is what we need to know.
Did Chris Middleton rig the election? No, okay, so we're not monetized. It doesn't even matter.
And also, Drew, you mentioned this before. The Bucks, they reached the is it the quarterfinals in that cup thing?
I don't know. We play Barcelona next. I don't know. I don't know how this Euro League stuff works, but
I honestly have no idea what's going on. I really have no idea what's going on when they talk about this. They got a sponsor this year. It's got a name. It's like the Emirates. I think it's Emirates. Is it the Emirates Cup?
Yeah, it's the Emirates Cup now.
Which really sounds soccer-y.
Yeah, it does. I think the Emirates stuff does deal with soccer, honestly. Like, I could go to Champs at the mall and probably walk into like just any of those, like Champs, Foot Locker, and just be like, "You got Emirates stuff?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's in the Adidas section."
I swear to God, I have no idea what's going on in that in-season tournament. Zero clue. I have zero clue what's going on in that in-season tournament.
You know what? I will say, I think that I do actually like that they're doing this because the in-season tournament. Yeah. Because it's made early season basketball a lot more competitive.
Do you really think these guys care?
Yes.
I don't think they do.
Yes, I think they actually do. Especially for teams like Detroit or like Indiana last year, like a lot of younger teams that don't necessarily know where they're at. I think that they are trying to compete at least a higher playoff level when they know they might not make the playoffs. And Doc Rivers, I actually like the point that he made about last year, that if it wasn't for the in-season tournament, Indiana might not be an Eastern Conference final team. Like, they didn't get that level of buying into what they were, because remember they went to the Emirates Cup final, the in-season tournament final. They beat us. They went to the final, and they didn't have Pascal Siakam, so they made the move for Siakam because they're like, "Oh, we're a good team. Now we can make a move to put them over." Now, the Indiana Pacers are a dog shit basketball team this year, and I thought it was funny when they traded for Siakam, thinking that was the move of moves and that they were going to be kingmakers doing this shit. And they're going to be a crap team, and they're going to be a play-in team probably this year, and they're going to be fighting it out for the 6 or 7 seed with goddamn Brooklyn because they're dumb, and Brooklyn doesn't even have Cam Thomas right now. So, like, whatever. Let Indiana believe in themselves. They've done a great job making a joke out of that franchise for most of their careers. So just keep on doing it, guys. That's good. Because Tyrese Halliburton, you're another Reggie Miller. Why don't you just go choke somebody? Who cares?
Yeah, but I think maybe for a young team like Indiana was last year, Detroit is this year, it's something to play for, because you're not going to be playing for a title later in the season. But the only reason it's something to play for is because a team like the Bucks or like the Celtics or like I don't know, name any team out west that's in the running for doing something serious, making a deep playoff run. They're not taking the midseason tournament seriously. That's the only reason you can make noise if you're one of those young teams. And if you're one of these veteran teams, that has championship aspirations, I don't think you can or should be putting any weight in it. Like last year, the fact that a team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James and talking championship were hanging a banner because they won the midseason tournament is an absolute joke. You don't hang a banner for this thing, especially when you're the Lakers and you have so many banners already crowding your rafters with all the championships and other things you've actually done. This should mean nothing to a LeBron James or to an Anthony Davis or to a franchise like the Lakers.
Okay, so I know people don't love it when I start getting into like the superhero kind of stuff. Why do we need a Peter Parker origin story? Oh, we've already seen it. Yes, I'm in my 30s. You're in your 40s. You've seen Uncle Ben die 3 times now with movies.
Mm-hmm.
Assume that this is the first time you're watching the Detroit Pistons, or this season is the first time you started paying attention to the Detroit Pistons, or last year was the first time you started really paying attention, 7, 8 years old, to the Indiana Pacers. Winning the NBA in-season tournament becomes like, oh, like that's like a peak thing for me, and that grows your fandom. So I would look at it from this year. Somebody in my family, like if I had a cousin who was like 5 or 6 years old, and Giannis and Damian Lillard are doing this, and they win the NBA Cup, and it's like, oh, remember when they won the NBA Cup? That's the thing that they will also
It's the Emirates Cup. It's the Emirates Cup, you fucker. You call it what it is. It's the Emirates Cup.
We can be old and cynical and be like, nah, I've seen it. I've seen my team win a championship, whatever. Who cares about this? This is a thing that years from now, there's a time that, like, dude, my dad remembers a time that the 3-point line didn't exist in the NBA.
You think this is going to catch on?
But we grew up with it. It could catch on, sure.
I don't think it will.
But dude, okay, would you say that the in-season tournament is better or worse than what is the NBA better off having it than not having it, as opposed to what regular season? Have you watched more basketball that's competitive and a better product because of this the last 2 years? Or would you just rather go back to late November, early December? No one really gives a shit basketball until the trade deadline.
I don't think this changes a whole hell of a lot as far as the competitive level of the NBA in November and December. I really don't.
Here, I'll even say this because I have never fallen off on the Bucks. I haven't ever stopped believing in what they're capable of and any of that kind of stuff. I thought tonight was a good barometer for the Bucks, honestly. Because
I mean, Detroit's been playing good basketball.
Detroit's been playing good basketball. They were undefeated in this little tournament thing. They're a young team, but they got good veteran pieces though. Malik Beasley's all right. Tobias Harris is all right. Like they got a lot of young players. Jalen Duran and Cade Cunningham obviously is great. You get like a lot of these guys that they're trying to figure out what they are as a team. These are guys that might be trying to get paychecks at some point. Are we staying here? Are we going to get extensions here? Is there something to build here? They want to win those games. And these are games that the Bucks should win. So it's like to go into hostile territory, a team that's undefeated, they're gassed up. Detroit is a tough place to play a lot of the time with that crowd and with that, their PA announcer is legendary.
Yeah.
Like, go back to, just the Mouse, the Palace and everything. Do you go back to all that stuff? Ben Wallace, like that guy is sick, dude. Like that guy rules. You getting everybody all just hyped up and stuff, dude. It's cool. Like
no, I'm not saying, and you're right. It probably does
environment though. Like you got
no, you're right, and it probably does bring out the best in a young team like Detroit who has something to prove, and that is when they are playing good basketball. That is a tough place to play on the road, no doubt about it. And I do want the Bucks playing at a high level. I do want their compete level to be high this early in the season, and for them to kind of get used to playing at this level, both fundamentally and from an energy standpoint. I want to see that, but I don't think that's happening because of the in-season tournament. And my proof is they've won 7 straight games. How many of those have been tournament games? And have they been better in those games than they were in the other 7 wins? I don't think so. They're just playing really well right now.
I think tonight might have been their best overall game.
Maybe.
Start to finish, probably their best game. I will say, Doc Rivers did also, because I like Doc. I like a lot of the things that Doc has to say because of us doing this. I listen to Doc Rivers post games all the time now. Like I listen to everything everybody's got to say, and like I actually think about what they had to say. And did I think that was BS or not? Doc Rivers, I think he was right when he said that the in-season tournament was like a new start for this team, where we start off in that terrible start. We're 2-8, and then all of a sudden there's the in-season tournament, and we started seeing some good things happen here and there, and like the games leading up to it. But then in-season tournament, brand new things to strive for. So get us back on track. So maybe there are veteran teams too that can take advantage of this and actually decide that we're going to flip a switch. We're going to actually start playing, and this is the thing to right the ship. Because without the in-season tournament, who knows? Maybe we go. Who was the first team we played in the? Was it?
I have no idea. I forgot already.
But you go
somewhere I can look that up.
Lose that first group game, and you're like, well, all right, that sucks. But now it's like you're 1-0 in the in-season tournament right there. You're batting 1,000 here. So let's just roll with that, and every game is a building block for the in-season tournament. I'm okay with that. Like
I'm trying to see if there's. Oh, hold on. They have a page for the NBA Cup. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Who's in our?
They just have the standings.
But okay,
so
the
fine.
Do is look at how we played against Miami. No Giannis, and they had a very specific game plan to go out against Miami, who's tough, and we had to do it in Miami. But you go to Miami, and it was go real small. Like the other thing too is like I'm seeing less and less people criticize Doc Rivers because Doc is doing a lot of what people wish Bud did, where he's making these game-to-game adjustments, where you had no Giannis, and instead of starting Bobby Portis at the 4, you kept Bobby on the bench, and you put Taurean Prince at the 3, and you just ran all small ball to start that game and just buried Miami with threes, and it lasted the entire game. Yeah, they got real close, but for a team that's not known for their defense, and Giannis, who's probably our best defender, I would say. I mean, Andre Jackson, statistically is our best defender, but like Brooks, our best shot blocker. But Giannis is probably the best defender on the team, I would say, overall.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Just how he alters the game. So no Giannis out there, and you ran Brook out there, and you had Taurean Prince at the 4, and you just buried threes on Miami to start the game. Sure, a lot was Damian Lillard doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Damian Lillard. Everybody, it's brick time. The people that were pissed at Dame for not being a 50-point scorer every game to start the season. Oh, now look at this. Double machine, Damian Lillard. Dame and Giannis figured it out.
Dame and Giannis have been pretty solid from the start of the season. There was a little rocky patch there for Dame, but for pretty much from the start of the season, those guys have been rolling. Like I said, and the main thing, you talked about Doc doing things that we wanted him to do and what's changed. And I think that goes back to what I talked about before is giving bigger roles and kind of just changing the roles of Andre Jackson and of AJ. Jeez, I'm drawing a blank here. AJ Green, excuse me. I want to say AJ Jackson for some reason. AJ Green, changing their roles and giving them bigger roles and reducing the role of a Pat Connaughton, changing kind of tweaking the role of Gary Trent. Like we said, he's getting starter minutes. It's just not happening as a starter. Like I think that stuff more than anything is where Doc has made the adjustments that have made the biggest difference, and shots are just falling.
So now the answer to my question already, I know, is a no.
No.
I know it's a no.
No.
When Chris Middleton comes back, I know the answer is a no.
No.
Is he first guy off the bench? I know the answer is a no.
Is Chris Middleton first guy off the bench?
Yeah, I know the answer is a no.
At the beginning, maybe.
So
I mean, once
Middleton's gonna start when he comes back.
Once he's in game shape, he's starting. Yeah.
Is there a leash? No, this is a different question. Is there a leash on with the way the chemistry has been, with the mobility of Taurean Prince, with the way Taurean Prince has shot the ball in that first unit, along with because Prince has been the best pickup we've had so far. Does TP go back to the bench as what we originally had him figured in to do? Because you're not going to take Andre Jackson out starting the 2 and then go throw fucking Middleton in there. Like that's not going to.
No.
Middleton playing the 2 at this point in his career. He's the 3.
Yeah, Prince goes to the bench.
So Prince goes to the bench. Or do you have essentially 2 starters on your bench, maybe 3 starters, where you have Middleton, Gary Trent, Bobby Portis, who are all guys who are capable of being starters. And then when one guy has to get picked out of the lineup, Taurean Prince or Giannis or something, and then one of those guys slots back in there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. But I mean, like I said, when Chris is in game shape, he's your starter, and yeah, Taurean Prince goes to the bench because you're not taking Ajax out of there.
Because remember, Doc said that the idea for this rotation is for Dame, Giannis, and Chris, for 2 of them to be on the floor at all times.
Yeah,
and that's the way they're going to try to make this work.
That makes sense.
Dame Giannis, I have no issues with. Chris Middleton, I'm wondering if there's going to be a hiccup with like the chemistry with him being out there and where does he find his shots or where does he fit in? Because he's going to be basically operating inside the 3-point arc and he'll get his like wing threes once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, like, you're not going to park Chris Middleton in the corner the way you can do it with Taurean Prince, you know?
No, but that's okay because you can just play different styles when Chris is out there as opposed to when Taurean Prince is out there. You can still do the same stuff that you're doing now with Taurean Prince, just at different points in the game, and you're going to get the Chris Middleton bump too.
I just know the answer was no already. Like that, like I said, I knew the answer was no, but I'm like, part of me thinks, I'm like, with the way Doc has made these adjustments, is there a point where if the chemistry is just wrong, and if we start to slip again, does Middleton end up as a $30 million a year bench player? Which, honestly, I don't have a problem with it, especially defensively, because I think Taurean Prince has been fantastic. Like, he is absolutely my shining bright spot of this season beside Dame.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it if there's something strategic to it. But I don't think until Chris shows me that, you know, he can't be that guy again that had us all saying Chris Middleton is good at basketball. And until he shows me he can't be that guy again, he's a starter in this league. If you want to tell me there's some competitive benefit to be gained by bringing him off the bench and keeping, kind of like we're talking about with Gary Trent Jr., where he's still getting starter minutes, he's just not getting them as a starter. That for Chris Middleton, but like more because he's Chris Middleton and Gary Trent is Gary Trent. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you could draw up some sort of plan where Chris is coming off the bench, but still as big a part of the plan as he ever was, but you're telling me there's some competitive advantage to be had. Okay. But if you're just saying like Chris's game has eroded so much that he's reserved to a bench role, like that's a different story. Now I don't know that we're there yet. We might be. I don't know that we are.
That was no. My thing was never that Chris Middleton's not capable of playing because we haven't seen him play. Like I'm not going to write a guy off. Remember, there were people writing off Damian Lillard, a lot of the goddamn media, and all of a sudden they're pretty goddamn quiet on him. Oh, yeah. Hey, how much blowing up this whole thing have they been talking about lately? Oh, Giannis.
I haven't heard about Giannis forcing his way out in a few weeks.
I haven't heard about that. Heard about Damian Lillard being miserable here either. I haven't heard.
It's weird.
It's so weird. It's so. Oh, did you see the picture of Damian Lillard with his? I'm gonna harp on this constantly. Did you see the picture of Damian Lillard with his kids at the Pfizer Forum?
I don't think I did. No.
Yeah, looks like a good dad. Looks like a guy who's pretty damn happy with where he's at. So, you know, the media and stuff, all them talking about, like, oh, these guys are not gonna work. Those guys are fine.
Well, good. I'm glad.
They're all good. They're all fine.
That's good. Problem. That's good.
Never should have lost that Charlotte game either. LaMelo tripped over his fucking dude. You know what? Here's the thing.
That's pretty bad.
So, you know, I'm like a basketball shoe guy now because, you know, I'm like, hooping. Fucking the amount of kids.
Drew texts me at least twice a week what he did at the gym that day. Like legit line scores of what he did hooping at the gym that day. His shooting
Last
percentage,
night, I made 11
how many
threes.
points he scored. I'm waiting for video highlights. I'm waiting for video highlights to be part of the package.
I made 11 threes. Don't worry about how many shots it took for me to do it, but I made 11. That's a career high.
You took 43 shots.
I didn't take 43. I mean, I probably took 43 in total, but we only count the threes.
By the way, we should mention, and this actually matters, unlike what you send me about your gym ball.
11 has 33 points.
The Bucks set a record for 3-pointers tonight. I don't know if you knew that, Drew Flaggy. I don't know if they had the sound on at the bar, and if you knew that, 23 3-pointers, team record, 23 of 41 from 3 tonight in Detroit.
We were 23 of 41.
23 of 41 from 3.
41. So also on my parlays, I took a Bobby Portis, 1 3-pointer made. That's all I needed. I took Taurean Prince, 1.5 threes over. AJ Green, 1.5 threes over. Damian Lillard, 3.5 threes over. I hit on all those players. You know who I missed on tonight? Giannis, 31.5 points because we were blowing out so fucking bad. He sat and Giannis.
He finished with 28. I couldn't believe it. It felt like he scored 28 in the third quarter.
He missed 1 shot from the field.
Yeah, he was 10 of 11.
And that was my parlay. Oh, God.
Dude, he almost had a triple-double, and he didn't even play in the fourth quarter, really. He had 28, 8, and 7.
The fact that my lights are on right now is a miracle because I missed on that goddamn parlay. And, of course, I put money on Donovan Mitchell again, who just pisses me off constantly. He's the Jason Tatum of this season.
I'd help you out, but, the engagement ring and Christmas is coming up, and, just...
No, you don't got to pay my bill.
All right, good.
Do you want to talk about your Bears?
Dude, what the fuck? And you know what? You know what pisses me off more than anything, Drew? You know what pisses me off more than anything?
My happiness. And that the Packers are my 3rd favorite team in Wisconsin.
No, I don't care about that.
I might like the Admirals more than the Packers.
Quite frankly, fuck you and the Packers. This is about me, okay? I was on the Score that day down in Chicago, 670 Score, Chicago's #1 sports radio station. I was doing the morning show, which is it's like a big thing. You know what I mean? It's like one of their prime time slots. I'm doing the morning show that day. And my boss is like, hey, we're on high alert. They might fire Matt Eberflus today after the way he fucked up that game. And by the way, the way he fucked up that game, I'm sure you saw that, right? You watched that game, Drew. Yeah. Dude, he just stood there with that stupid fucking look on his face while 32 seconds ticked off the 32 seconds. Drew, we do stand up. I do radio, which are like 2 things where you have to like keep track of what you're doing and like you got to know the time. 32 seconds is an eternity in both of those worlds. I said on the Score that day, like if I just stood on stage or if I just sat here at this microphone on the radio and it was just silence for 32 seconds, that would feel like forever. Like, and this dude just stood there for 32 seconds and watched that game tick away with a timeout in his fucking pocket. So anyways, I'm on the Score the next morning. My boss is like, we're on high alert. They might fire him. We have to be ready to go. Lots of people are going to be listening if they do fire him. Blah, blah. It's Black Friday. People are in their cars, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is fucking great. So I do the whole show. They hold his press conference, Drew, at 9 a.m. They hold his press conference. I go off the air at 10. And we're like, well, they wouldn't walk him out there to do his press conference if they're going to fire him. Guess he's not getting fired. I get off the air at 10. At 11 a.m., Drew, I'm fast asleep, by the way. I'm fast asleep. At 11 a.m., they fire Matt Eberflus, and I don't get the chance to be the one to break the good news to Chicago. I could have been the one to break the good news to the city of Chicago that they finally pulled the plug on that motherfucker as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And instead, it was an hour after I got off the air and they let him hold the press conference. It's so dysfunctional the way that even when they do the right thing, they do the wrong thing, Drew. They're so fucking stupid and dysfunctional and it makes me angry.
So let me give you the setting for this. Black Friday. I'm down at the Pleasant Prairie outlet stores. All right. Me and my sister.
Right by my parents' house.
I just spider senses tingling. I pop open Twitter waiting.
Dude, you were there? I drove past there and there were cars literally parked.
Oh, it was crazy.
It was insane.
Dude, it was crazy. Yeah.
On top of each other.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. I pop open my Twitter. My sister's looking at yoga pants or whatever the fuck she was looking at, Lululemon. And I burst out laughing in front of a ton of Bears fans. And I got to break the news to a bunch of families that I think most of them didn't even really speak English, that the Bears fired Matt Eberflus. And I was happy as shit. I'm just sitting there. I had the biggest shit-eating grin on my face, just wearing a Milwaukee Bucks sweatshirt, just be like, I'm a Packer fan too, you little fuck.
But I mean, Bears fans were happy they did it. If anything, they should. I'm just upset they didn't do it earlier, dude. That's the only thing that pisses me off about it. Earlier that day or earlier in the season, like this thing could have been salvaged if they did it 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago when he had already lost his team.
Dude, do you remember? I mean, we got to go back like a few podcasts here, and do you remember when you were talking about how you got to admit Bears are playing pretty good, and I said you guys are playing a weak schedule, and you can only play the schedule you have.
Oh, I never denied that. Yeah.
Well, there are quite a few Bears fans that we know that have denied that this. Caleb Williams is playing great, by the way. Fourth quarter play is very incredible, and it's actually like encouraging it should be for Bears fans.
He has the highest pass. He has the highest QB rating both for the second half and fourth quarter in the NFL this year,
which is great. Now he's gonna have to deal with another fucking coach that's gonna have their own system and their own ideas and shit like that. And it's like Caleb Williams. I said if the Bears are able to push through and make a deep playoff run, it's going to be very similar to what the Bucks did when they won the championship, where Caleb Williams might be able to out-talent his coach. He might win. He might be like PJ Tucker. He might win in spite of his coach.
I thought you were going to say and like reverse the impact of 50 years of a dysfunctional organization, the way that Giannis did the Bucks, like and start to turn the tide the way that Giannis did the Bucks. That's what, to me, that's what Caleb has the opportunity to do with the Bears.
Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, PJ Tucker, like they overcame Bud in the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah,
I would not attribute many of those wins, like the big wins that we had. I wouldn't attribute those to Bud. Remember, PJ Tucker had to tell Bud to shut the fuck up. We're doing it my way. And Bud,
I do remember that. Yeah.
So like that's it. Like the organization, the team, the culture, that might get you so far. At a certain point, it's gonna have to be a superstar league, and Caleb Williams might be very capable of carrying them over that hump.
It's harder to do in the NFL, though. It's harder to do in the NFL because you're only on the field for half the game. You know, you're one of 53 guys, not one of 12. You're one of 11 guys on the field, not one of 5 on the court. You know what I mean? It's a lot harder to turn the fortunes of a franchise as one dude in the NFL than it is in the NBA.
And he's going to have to do it himself. He's going to have to make that throw. He's going to have to call that audible himself or something. He's going to have to do something at some point to be that guy and just tell whatever nutsack they pull out of wherever the hell the Bears are going to find another coach next year, because they're going to do some interim shit this year and they'll go find somebody else who's going to match Caleb Williams, but they're not really going to find somebody to match Caleb Williams. He's going to have to do it himself. That's just the way he's going to have to do it.
He's not. No, I think they do have to get the right coach. I don't think he can do it if they don't get the right coach. I said this on the air the other day on The Score. And by the way, catch me tomorrow on Chicago Sports Radio 6-7 The Score, 6 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. or on your Odyssey app. If they do get the right guy, it'll be they're going to have to stumble into it, Drew. They're going to have to like fall ass backwards into getting this thing right. They won't get it right because they have the right people and the right systems and the right processes in place, and they know how to find the right people with the right traits who are going to be the right fit with who they have in place. Now, they're going to find that guy by accident. They're going to stumble into it if they ever do. But they do need to do that.
But that's got to line up perfectly with the quarterback you have right now.
Yes.
So you have presumably 2 years to stumble into this guy?
Yeah.
You got to
approximately
how Harry met Sally, this fucking dude.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
Exactly.
He's got to meet cute with the Bears. This is going to be crazy.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
We've gone from this being a sports franchise to a rom-com.
You know how that's an even better analogy. You know, we all have friends who like, you have a friend who's not good at dating. They're like just not
God,
good.
Don't even talk about that.
Hold on. Let me finish. You have that friend who's just like not good at it. But then somehow, some way, they stumble into it. And you're just like, how that son of a bitch pull that off? He has no game. He has no game. He didn't get her number. He didn't get her number the first opportunity he had to get her number. But somehow in the end, it ends up working out for him. That's what the Bears will have to be. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to be looking at them and going, how'd they end up with that guy? You know, that's that's what's gonna have to happen here, Drew. Yeah. That's what's gonna have to happen here.
And some of them are like the goddamn Buffalo Bills, where they just lose 4 in a row.
All right.
The people deserve to know what happened.
No, that's all right. You wouldn't need to get all up in your biz. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when the Bucks got knocked out by the Miami Heat in the playoffs, and Grayson Allen just held onto the ball until the shot clock ran out, and then they turned the lights on and everyone headed for the exits? That happened to me at bar close 2 weeks ago.
This guy
I was playing like Kobe.
He'll correct it, dude.
LeBron.
I think he'll correct it.
Did you see that LeBron is also 0 for 20 from his last 23 pointers?
I did see that.
He's gonna set the record, dude. 0 for 26. He's got to go 0 for 20. You got to just start chucking. You gotta be like me last night.
Did you want to talk about the Packers before we wrap this up?
Oh yeah,
they got the Lions on Thursday.
Yeah, we do.
How you feeling about that one?
Wait, is it? We play them on Thursday?
I think that's a Thursday night game, isn't it?
Fuck! I have a show.
Let me make sure. Plug your show while I look it up. Where's your show at?
It's at Rebellion Brewing in Cedarburg, but you guys are gonna want to watch the Packers.
Packers and Lions, 7:15. Look at that.
Oh fuck my ass.
Yeah, there's gonna be nobody at your show, dude.
No one's gonna want to watch my.
Sorry to break that to you. Sorry to break that news to you, my friend, but there will be.
Christ, that is a tough sell.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even want to do comedy. I just want to watch the goddamn Packer game.
Did I ever tell you my first ever feature weekend as a comedian? The old Comedy Cafe. The first night of the weekend was a Thursday, and I got there and there was nobody there. The club was empty, and the manager was like, yeah, there was a Packers game tonight. We sold 4 tickets, so we canceled the show, but we're going to pay you anyways because we know you could be working somewhere else. I was like, no, I couldn't, because the Packers are playing and nobody would schedule a comedy show tonight. But thank you for paying me. I'm going to go watch football now with the rest of the city. So maybe that'll happen for you, Drew. Maybe that'll happen for you.
It's Mike Coben's show, and he listens to this podcast. He already knows how sad I am. Dude, I did keg stand-up twice. The first 2 times I did that show, which is a fantastic show at Lakefront Brewery. Fun. I did that show twice. The first 2 times I did it were on Sunday nights where the Packers played the noon game. So people were good and drunk from noon. We were like, oh, they're gonna be drunk from the Packer game. Problem is, the first time I did that show, the Packers lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and people showed up to that show really pissed off. Because it's like, oh wow, hey babe, we have tickets to this comedy show after the Packers just shit the bed against the fucking Cowboys. And then we lost another, I forgot who the loss was, but it was like a dipshit loss that what we did, and people showed up angry at that. These were both during the Aaron Rodgers era.
Well, tell people where your show is this Thursday if they want to show up angry. Should the Packers lose to the Lions?
No, because they're going to show up angry because they're going to miss the game. I might as well just pull up the game on Stream East and just do
And just play that for your set. Yeah.
commentary for the set, probably. Like, no one wants to hear my.
Is this the one at Rebellion Brewery?
Is anybody happy about the election? Well, I'm just glad everyone had a good time.
A few people there are happy about the election. I've done that show.
Because I was all upset about like fuck, I'm gonna miss Bucks Celtics, and I'm like, oh wait, no, that's on Friday.
Yeah, you're gonna miss Packers Lions is what you're gonna miss, bro.
There's Lions, honestly. Well, we got Atlanta Hawks tomorrow.
All right,
We gotta play the
that
Hawks.
should be a good one. Trae Young's been playing all right, dude.
Yeah, I mean, whenever he plays against an above 500 team, he's kind of dog shit too. Like this year, he's pretty bad.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up, Drew?
Cade Cunningham is going to be a great player when he goes.
Very good.
Other than that, the Bucks rule.
All right,
So
Bucks rule. We'll be back soon. It won't be another 3 weeks. We won't let that happen again. I promise you, it won't be that long.
We should probably do Bucks Celtics on Friday at least.
Friday I'm working. I will be working late Friday night. So
You're working at the Improv.
yes, sir. Come out to the Improv. I don't know who's there, but I will be there on the soundboard. I will be the sound of God on the soundboard.
Oh, I know who's there.
You do. Who's there this weekend, True Flaggy?
It doesn't matter who's on stage.
Oh, isn't it Ari Spears?
I don't know.
Aries Spears.
Ramie, you need to read between the lines. I was doing an inside thing there.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
God damn it.
You'll fix it. You'll correct it. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
All right. For a dejected Drew Flaggy, I am Ramie Mackloff. This has been episode 71 of Ramie and Drew. Follow us, like us, subscribe, rate, review on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Most importantly, tell a friend. Some more people can hear this brilliance or see this brilliance wherever it is that you might get it. Thank you if you tuned in live. And otherwise, we still appreciate you wherever you're tuning in to Ramie and Drew, episode 71. We'll talk to you again soon.